Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and if you're not looking at your screen right this second, you should, because this is funny. This is a post from Ripple Van Winkle, because, we've been through a lot within the XRP community. I think it's fair to say, right? And so he shared this video, which I had seen before, but he put it in the context of XRP holders and what we've been through. But what you're seeing on the screen here is the first level from the iconic video game Super Mario Brothers, except for it's got insane fire bars. Now, technically, this is a Super Mario Maker, so you can edit your own levels, and so somebody made a copy of the original first level, which is very iconic, and then just made it almost impossible to beat. And so look at all these fire bars and everything this player's jumping through to get to the flagpole and be victorious. And so he shared that video, and Ripple Van Winkle simply wrote, "Being an XRP holder for the last 7 years." I'm like, yeah, well, that's about freaking right. I would say that's about freaking right. Oh, so let's talk about some things. I got a few topics that are interesting that I want to discuss. Got some interesting news from Yoshitaka Kitao. There's actually a really wild story about a whale hunt that happened, and I'll cover that at the end of the story. It's about a Bitcoin whale that got hunted. It's just like total degenerate stuff that was happening, playing with like 40x leverage to the tune of like millions and millions and millions of dollars. Crazy risky stuff, but people all over the world were hunting a whale, trying to liquidate him. It's a crazy story, a lot of fun. I'll highlight that. And also there's a short thread that I found fascinating on X. As you know, I follow a lot of chart analysts that accurately called the break for XRP to the upside, right? And it's just fascinating. No matter how right we continue to prove, like history proves us to be, because obviously, we were right to have the vindication that we had in terms of XRP and its long-term viability and its price moving to the upside, ultimately hitting a new all-time high, which it did on January 16th this year. Despite all of that, there are still a bunch of idiot sticks all over the internet that are denying that we were correct or that it makes sense to believe that XRP is going to go higher. And it's just insane to me because the metrics for XRP, they just keep getting better. And the crypto pie is going to keep getting bigger. And XRP is always going to be a certain percentage of that. It's insane to bet against us at this point. So look at this headline from the Crypto Basics. Since investing in Ripple, we've endured lawsuits. Now it's finally seeing the light of day, says SBI chairman. Yoshitaka Kitao, chairman and CEO of SBI Holdings, expressed renewed confidence in Ripple's future during his speech at FinSum's Core Week. He acknowledged that the legal hurdles Ripple has faced, but emphasized that the company is now set for significant growth. In his speech, Kitao reflected on his early investment in Ripple, saying, and this is a quote, and this is, mind you, this is a very key partner with Ripple, and there's some cross-pollination of ownership, let's say, more on that in just a second. But here's this quote: "Since I invested in Ripple, there have been numerous lawsuits. After enduring them, it is finally seeing the light of day." End quote. I think that I'm willing to bet that all of you can relate to that, right? We have been through, there's no crypto community that has been through more than the XRP community. The last several years have been completely absurd, but now we finally get in ours. It's about damn time. And so Yoshitaka Kitao and SBI, they've been around for a while, basically from the beginning. And so they've endured everything. I mean, there were lawsuits even early on, like with, the whole FinCEN thing, and then XRP ultimately was declared a virtual currency, and I believe that was 2015. There's been some stuff. There's been a lot of lawsuits. And even before the most famous lawsuit, the SEC v. Ripple lawsuit in the end of 2020, there's class action lawsuits, multiple ones that ended up getting consolidated. Like those idiot sticks like right around the time that XRP was hitting its all-time high over 3 years ago, around $3.30, whatever it was. There were people that were purchasing. They invested like there's one guy in particular who invested like $500, held it for like a week or two. Then he panic sold as it went down. Then he sued Ripple, blaming them for all this. And I'm like, I'm sorry, if you're actually going to try and trick people into believing that you were counting on Ripple to increase the price of XRP, if that's your argument, which it was, then why didn't you hold it for more than a week or two, you idiot stick? It's just, this stuff is completely ridiculous. But you know, we've been very steadfast, and frankly, talk about a steadfast partner in SBI. Wow, they've been around forever. Take a look at this. SBI partnered with Ripple in 2012 and holds a 9% stake, making it the largest external shareholder. The collaboration also birthed SBI Ripple Asia, launched in 2016, and XRP powered remittances via SBI Remit since 2021. The partnership is expanding with plans to issue NFTs on the XRP ledger at Expo 2025. And so they're not just pro Ripple, and obviously, like I said, they have some shared interest there, let's say. Like, this guy, he's always been pro XRP specifically, which makes sense. And it's at the core of Ripple's business model, so that shouldn't be surprised given their very shared interests in this regard. But there's this recognition that the worst is behind us, and from here, if it's not 100% smooth sailing, it's going to be pretty close, and it'll... Compared to everything we just went through, it is. I would just argue that. But still, there's a bunch of idiot sticks out there that just are going to tell us no, and that XRP doesn't make sense, and it's bearish, and blah, 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 because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. So here's a post from Charting Guy, and this is from 3 days ago. I actually shared it at the time, purely just talking about what he was saying in terms of XRP price performance and what he's expecting. And so he wrote, and I'll make this full screen just for a second. He said, the XPUSD chart here, he said, XRP corrective, overlapping, flagging structure, not bearish in the slightest. And again, he is one of the analysts I follow who accurately called that XRP would break to the upside and hit a new all-time high. He was right. That has happened. It took 7 years, but it has happened. Price discovery is next, and he is steadfast in his belief that that is what's coming. Now you get to somebody here named Russell, and he doesn't think so. So you can tell me who is right. The guy that called XRP breaking to the upside, and that's a minority number of analysts out there. Because and the reason that's the case, it's not that every analyst was anti-XRP or didn't think it was happening. For most of them, the case is that they weren't even paying attention. And there was a small... But see, that's the neat thing, though, actually. And I highlighted so many examples. All the analysts who weren't regularly paying attention to XRP, when they did revisit it, they were like, whoa, this is the hottest chart in crypto. And then every time I came across one of those types of posts, I would share it on my channel. Because I was like, yeah, exactly. So when they see it, then they're like, holy hell. For tons of reasons. Okay, well, I'm going to listen to those guys that could see that this was coming rather than some fly-by-night individual who's just going to say stuff here. But this stuff is still entertaining anyway. And so this guy who named Russell, the genius here, he said, down and to the right is bearish. So he looked at this chart. The price is going down, therefore it's bearish. I guess it just doesn't stop then. So I guess for XRP, before it ripped from 49 cents up to $3.39 months later, from November up until January, before that, it was just trending sideways and down, frankly, for years, actually, just about. Certainly for much of 2024, it was just kind of doing that. So I guess that just means that it was just going to do that forever. Things can't break to the downside and then just dramatically rip to the upside, huh? Is that how that works? And so a Charting Guy, he just wasn't having it. He wrote, no, when it's overlapping and corrective while flagging, quite the opposite. Please learn to read a chart. I love that response. And Russell responded, though, but yet the price is not moving despite all the rhetoric of your technical analysis. Okay, I read that one, and I just had like the biggest freaking facepalm and a audible sigh. I had one of those moments personally. Because XRP has been outperforming the entire freaking market. Where do these people come from? How is this a real human that really exists? Walking down the same streets as us, breathing our fresh air. That's right, they are among us, folks. That is scary. But anyway, Charting Guy responded, he said, your lack of patience and perspective. He said, you lack patience and perspective. If you look at my other technical analysis, you would know I don't expect it to do much until April. Just pointing out the structure it is building now is indeed bullish. And folks, there are tons of analysts that are talking about that time frame, by the way. The idea of XRP breaking to the upside, even if it's not this month, shortly, not too distant future, that happening, maybe April. Not crazy. Tons of analysts think that makes sense for a lot of different reasons. But still, Russell knows best. And he wrote, April will turn to May, which will turn to June, and so on. Don't get me wrong, I want XRP to go up in value, but the reasons people keep using for appreciation don't appear to work. I just don't think that he does, and I don't think he's paying attention. There's no way. XRP has been ripping to the upside and still showing strength. And see, there's always going to be this small percentage of people, like kind of on the fringe, that have no understanding of the space that they're operating in, which is very risky for them. And they have like no patience. So they have no understanding and no patience. And so whatever is happening in the moment, if they don't like how it feels, then they're just going to spew negative sentiment all over the internet. That's what they do. So Charting Guy wrote, just because other people are wrong doesn't mean I'm wrong. Just because the people push back their dates doesn't mean I will. Just because other people suck at what they do doesn't mean I do. Don't discredit me when you don't know my track record with XRP. And folks, I do know his track record with XRP. It's pretty damn good. He has been correct. But still, Russell said, how long have you been predicting that XRP will increase in value? Well, here's the answer from Charting Guy. He wrote, well, called it out at 30 cents in 2022 and said it'll reach an all-time high this cycle. Got hate for 2.5 years. Then it hit all-time high. Has outperformed Bitcoin this cycle, which very few alts have. And now it's structurally holding up better than all coins on this recent correction the past few months. And folks, these are matter-of-fact statements here. And look, we all got, if you've been here for a few years and you talked about XRP on the internet, yeah, you got some crap too. Because there's a ton of toxic Bitcoin maximalists out there, and they're just spewing hatred and nonsense. But we were right. We've been vindicated, and sucks to suck, toxic Bitcoin maximalists. You were wrong. That's just how things go. Because you live in your little echo chamber, but we have logic, data, and reason on our sides, and it always made sense that XRP would go up. I mean, didn't you find it peculiar that the only top 10 coin last cycle that didn't hit a new all-time high was XRP, and it just so happened to be the only one that was getting attacked by the government of the United States? Yeah. I think that was kind of... And then you look at everything else, you know, all the metrics that matter, getting better, further adoption, yeah, and more utility, all that happening. Very obvious. So then when XRP got legal clarity, to me, it was the biggest no-brainer in the crypto space. Of course, when you have another bull run for the crypto space, XRP is going to run. It just doesn't do it by itself because it never has, because all that is based on global liquidity anyway, as I keep insisting. Now take a look at this from the Daily Hodl. This is just good old-fashioned fun right here. This is wild. Crypto Whale opens $332 million Bitcoin short position, sees profits even after getting hunted on-chain data. And by the way, I think it got up to like $500 million. I've got a post where I think it is. Just hold on a second. But check this out. This is absolutely buck wild. The amount of money being risked here is crazy. And I've never seen a story quite like this, at least not to this scale. Reads as follows. A crypto whale with a history of profitable trades has managed to come out on top after opening a massive short position on Bitcoin. Blockchain analytics firm Look On Chain says a deep-pocketed trader built a 3,940 Bitcoin short position worth $332 million by ramping up leverage to 40x. Okay, folks, this is insane. I must find if this guy is a great trader and he knows what he's doing, super duper. For normal people, and I include myself in this bucket of just regular dudes, it is a stupid ass idea to be playing with leverage because you're actually just playing with fire. Your guns to get burnt. And it's so absurd. You can make thousands of percentage gains in life-changing wealth in crypto just by holding on for a sufficient amount of time while the market just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And you are so greedy that the thousands of percentage gains in a short period of time, that's not enough for you. You want to put yourself in a position where you risk being liquidated? No thanks. Not me. Absolutely not. I hold all of my crypto in cold storage, self-custody, and ain't nobody getting their grubby little mitts on it. I'll tell you that. Piece continues. Short selling is the act of borrowing an asset from an exchange or broker to sell it in hopes of buying it back lower to pocket the difference. According to Look On Chain, the whale initially witnessed unrealized losses to the tune of more than $1 million. On top of choppy price action, the analytics firm says the whale had to fend off a team of traders who tried to boost the price of Bitcoin in an effort to liquidate the deep-pocketed investor's massive short position. And so they've got these posts on the screen, and I actually saw these the other day, and I was just like, oh my God, these people get aggressive out there. Somebody named CBB shared this post. He wrote, this is a real thing, by the way. He wrote, if you are willing to hunt this dude with size, drop a direct message. Setting up a team right now and already got good size. 7-figure size only in direct message, please. We only have 8 figures committed. So you're talking about 7 and 8 figures? So you're talking about some of them 8 figures, so that'd be a minimum of 10 million? $10 million? These are some wealthy individuals trying to wipe this whale out. It's a lot. And so then he wrote, the hunt has begun. And so they were actually gunning for this guy. And for a while, it looked like they actually might get him. Check this out. Look On Chain notes that the whale escaped liquidation by adding $5 million worth of stablecoin USDC to their account. The whale continued to increase his position to short Bitcoin. Currently, the whale is profiting from closing positions through time-weighted average price. His current position is 5,406 Bitcoin, worth $449 million, with an unrealized profit of $4.4 million. That is insane. You're with me, right? That's absolutely actually insane that a human is choosing to do this. I mean, I guess fine, if you're that wealthy, then maybe like the amount of money isn't that much. But even so, 40x leverage? You out your damn mind, son. What? And so take a look at this. So anyway, here's how it ended, though. It didn't end well for the hunters. It actually ended well for the degenerate whale here. And I saw this because Credible Crypto closed it, or reposted it rather. And so here CBB updated. Here's the end of the story. Shorter closed with $9 million in profit. We lost the war, but it's been a long time since we had this much fun on the internet. Good game to the shorter for the win. And it's got the little salute emoji. So what? That's how it ends? You risk millions and millions and millions of dollars. The people hunting them actually lost. The guy with the short position ended up profiting $9 million. All in a day's work. What in the ever-loving hell? Leverage is bad, though. Okay, so I understand that he made $9 million from doing this. Leverage is still bad. Leverage is still bad, all right? People get burnt. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.